All right, let's go ahead, Andrew.
Wonderful. Thank you, Matt. And welcome everyone on behalf of the Center for Process Studies. We're very excited to be sponsoring this event and been looking forward to revitalizing biophilosophy and discussion with you all. Uh, my name is Andrew Davis, and I run research and academics here at the Center for Process Studies. And if you're unfamiliar with us, we're a nonprofit research and educational organization that's based principally, although I'll say not exclusively, on the process relational thought of Alfred North Whitehead. Now, in this group, many of you will know that Whitehead, along with many others in the early 1920s, said that science is taking on a new aspect, which is not purely physical nor purely biological. In fact, he said it's becoming the study of organisms. And he added that biology is the study of the larger organisms and physics the study of the smaller organisms. And so he, alongside a number of others, as we're going to learn, called for science to become philosophical. And so, in a certain respect, process-oriented biophilosophy extends this call, attempts to fulfill this call, certainly in Whitehead's vein, but also a number of others, as we'll see. So, at the Center for Process Studies, just a word about us. We've been exploring the reach and the relevance of process-related forms of thought across both the humanities and the sciences for over 50 years now. We were founded in 1973, and we've done so through conferences like this, through courses, through the book series, through a variety of publications, and certainly other endeavors as well. So we're very excited to be co-sponsoring this event alongside our colleagues Matt Siegel of the California Institute of Integral Studies and Spiridon Kotrafinas of the Technical University of Berlin. So just a hearty welcome to everybody. We have some outstanding presenters from different places in the States, and I know we have others joining from the late hours, the early morning hours from other places on the planet. And just want to hand it to Matt and Spiridon and just encourage everyone to, if you're interested in the Center for Process Studies and what we're up to, the kind of work we do, we'll put the information about us and our website in the chat. So thanks, Matt. Thanks, Spiridon, and wishing everybody a wonderful conference from the Center for Process Studies.
Thanks, Andrew. Spiridon, would you like to offer some remarks to welcome us?
Yes, thank you. So, dear speakers and participants of the conference Revitalizing Biophilosophy, it is a great pleasure to welcome you to our conference. First, I would like to express my gratitude to the Center for Process Studies and the California Institute of Integral Studies for hosting this conference. My special thanks also go to Jared Morningstar for his masterful solution to many technical problems. I would like to say a few words about the meaning of the term biophilosophy and our long-term project of establishing a global biophilosophical movement. In the 20th century, there were important thinkers in various countries in Europe, North America, and the rest of the English-speaking world whose work, or at least significant parts of their work, are often referred to as biophilosophy or philosophical biology or continental philosophy of biology. To name just a few of them, Henri Bergson, Jacob von Uexküll, Kurt Goldstein, Wilfried Eger, Ralph S. Lilly, Georges Canguilhem, Raymond Rouillère, Hans Jonas, Gilbert Simondon, Adolf Portman, Michel Foucault, Charles Birch. However, it should not be overlooked that important biophilosophically relevant ideas can be found in the works of great philosophers from antiquity to the 21st century. If I attribute high biophilosophical relevance to the thinkers just mentioned and others, the question arises whether the term biophilosophy is just another name for philosophy of biology, as it is so often treated. We, the organizers of this conference, my friend and colleague Matthew Siegel and I, believe that this is not the case. and that consequently biophilosophy should not be equated with a currently established philosophy of biology, as the latter is presented in textbooks and developed in influential journals. In my opinion, the great biophilosophers of the 20th century and the biophilosophically relevant Western philosophers offer ways of understanding the phenomenon of life that are alien to the currently worldwide dominant philosophy of biology, since the ontology, epistemology, and methodology of contemporary philosophy of biology are rooted in a limited worldview that might be called scientific materialism. This form of materialism, which should not be confused with the currently developing new materialism, at the present monopolizes and motivates thinking about the most important aspects of the phenomenon of life in both the modern biological sciences and in the mainstream philosophy of biology. To counteract the ontological and epistemological one-sidedness of this development, we have brought together in this conference life scientists and philosophers who are currently working creatively in many countries and 3 continents, so that both the academic community and the public interested in the future of life become aware that there must be an alternative to the powerful reductionistic currents within the philosophy of biology, and that, in fact, such an alternative already exists. This is evident when considering the diversity of already existing biophilosophical works that are rooted in process ontological, phenomenological, biosemiotic, feminist, postmodern, and other perspectives represented in our conference. However, we would like to make it clear at this point that we do not aim for an antagonistic relationship with the mainstream philosophy of biology, but rather a complement and enrichment of its horizons, which will expand first the theoretical worldview of the modern life sciences, and second, their understanding of their ethical responsibility towards the future of the planet and of humanity. We are also convinced that biophilosophy needs to incorporate non-Western approaches to life. For example, Taoist, Hindu, Buddhist, and indigenous approaches to the conception of life and the understanding of biological phenomena, such as organism, ontogeny, and evolution. In other words, we have a global biophilosophy in mind. This is linked to our hope of being able to establish an international society for biophilosophy in the not too distant future. I will not say any more about this because my friend and co-organizer of this conference, Matthew Siegel, will explain it to you in a moment. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize that the main goal of this conference, which takes place today and tomorrow, is to highlight the variety of contemporary biophilosophical research. The presentations on both days will make clear that there are process philosophical, phenomenological, feminist, biosemiotic, historical, epistemological, and postmodern biophilosophical approaches, but also others that go beyond the categories just mentioned. Thank you.
Thank you, Spiridon. Welcome, everyone. I'm Matt Siegel. Appreciate your thoughtful introduction, Spiridon, and the idea for this conference, really. And it's been wonderful to work with you over the past, 6 months or more to get this organized.
Over than 1 year.
A year, you're right. Time flies when you're having fun. Very excited for the speakers we've collected. Thanks also, Andrew Davis, for welcoming us on behalf of the Center for Process Studies. The next 2 days are going to be really trying to retrieve and articulate this biophilosophical approach that Spiridon was just speaking about. But before we dive into today's presentations, I want to, again, just acknowledge the over 50 years of important interdisciplinary research and dialogue and transformative scholarship that the Center for Process Studies has been making possible across the intersections of philosophy, science, and religion and theology. This conference wouldn't have been possible without the center's support, and as Spiridon mentioned, particularly Jared Morningstar for creating our website, helping us handle all of the technical details behind the scenes. So let me share a bit about some new initiatives that we're cultivating. Many of you here, or at least some of you know about the Cobb Institute's Science Advisory Committee, which I have chaired for the last 5 years or so. It's been a space for process-oriented scientists and philosophers to gather and share ideas. We're now in the process of shifting this project under the umbrella of the Center for Process Studies, where it will take on a new name. So the Science Advisory Committee will become the Process Science Project, or PSP for short. So the aim of the Process Science Project is to continue to expand the pioneering interdisciplinary work initiated by John Cobb Jr. and David Ray Griffin, particularly their sustained engagement with the natural sciences through a process relational lens. Biophilosophy, including the possibility of an international society for biophilosophy, will be a key focus of this new process science project. The project is envisaged as a catalyst for new dialogues and collaborations, conferences such as this one, publications, with the aim of fostering research that bridges process philosophy with the natural sciences, not only physics and cosmology, but also biology, ecology, and the neuro and cognitive sciences. Now, as Andrew mentioned, from the perspective of the Center for Process Studies, Alfred North Whitehead remains an essential wellspring for this work. His philosophy offers us not merely a metaphysical system, but as I see it, an invitation to an ongoing adventure of ideas, a living and open-ended method that can meet the evolving challenges of our increasingly techno-scientific and ecologically imperiled age. The Process Science Project will continue to honor and advance Whitehead's legacy while also embracing the broader river delta of process thought, those tributaries and currents of philosophical inquiry, whether from Bergson, Hans Jonas, Simondon, many others that have preceded, paralleled, and sometimes diverged from Whitehead's path, each enriching our shared concern with life and process. In alignment with the themes of this conference, Revitalizing Biophilosophy, the Process Science Project will place particular emphasis on evolutionary science as a central axis for philosophical reflection. I wholeheartedly agree with Whitehead when he wrote in Science in the Modern World that, quote, evolution must become the guiding methodology for all branches of science. From a process perspective, evolution is not merely one domain or research field among others. It is the most general, most foundational way of understanding the unfolding of nature's creativity at every scale. So in closing now, I would also like to echo Spiridon's important point about the need for a truly planetary or global biophilosophy. As Hans Jonas reminds us in his book, The Phenomenon of Life, it is a peculiarity of modern Western thought, especially since the scientific revolution, to treat life as an anomaly in an otherwise dead and mechanical universe. But this, as Jonas points out, is the exception in the history of human thought. In nearly all pre-modern cultures, as well as in many indigenous, Taoist, Buddhist, and Hindu traditions today, life was and remains understood as the pervading rule in the cosmos, not a rare exception or an anomaly. In this light, biophilosophy isn't merely an academic project, it's part of a larger cultural effort of remembrance and even healing, you might say, that calls on Western philosophers to listen humbly to non-Western and indigenous wisdom traditions, learning from their relational and reverential understandings of life as an animate presence extending far beyond what mainstream Western psychology and biology are prepared often to acknowledge. At the same time, we should also recognize that within the West itself, there are long overlooked heterodox undercurrents from Heraclitus to Schelling, from Goethe to Bergson to Whitehead and others. These are undercurrents that can be and will be, as we'll see over the next few days, rediscovered and woven into this global conversation. Together, these threads will help us reimagine our place in a living universe. So this conference then marks a significant step toward what we hope will become an ongoing movement, a vibrant, pluralistic, planetary biophilosophy that not only complements the mainstream philosophy of biology, but also challenges it to broaden its metaphysical and ethical horizons. So looking ahead, beyond this conference, we're planning another gathering that will be both virtual and in person. There will be a biophilosophy section at the International Whitehead Conference in Carbondale, Illinois, next summer of 2026. And we hope that many of you who are presenting here will be able to join us there, again, whether in person or online. And as I mentioned, we're also envisioning Spiridon and I launching a International Society for Biophilosophy to help sustain and grow this work in the years to come. We're hoping, as we follow up this conference with the one next year, that we will produce an anthology collecting the writings that emerge from our conferences, and then hopefully an ongoing series of publications. So thank you so much for being here again as part of this emerging adventure of ideas. Let's begin. In the interest of preserving as much time as possible for our speakers, I'm just going to paste their bios in the chat, and you can also visit the conference webpage. You've all seen it because you've registered and are here to learn more about our speakers. To give you the roadmap today, there are two 15-minute breaks, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. In the middle is an hour lunch break. That will be at 12:30 Pacific time. Tomorrow we have a slightly shorter schedule beginning at 8:30 in the morning Pacific and ending at about 2:45 Pacific. Today we end at about, let's see, 4:45 Pacific. All right, so let me welcome our first speaker.